There's an abandoned house in my hometown that everyone calls Denny House. Nobody knows who started the name. Nobody knows who Denny was. But every kid in town grows up hearing the same warning. Never go inside after dark. And if you ever hear someone knocking from the attic, leave immediately. Because according to local legend, nothing human has lived in that house for over 30 years. And 3 summers ago, I was stupid enough to test that legend myself. My name is Mason Hale. I was 24 when this happened. I had come back to my hometown in Ohio after years away at college. Small town, quiet roads, the kind of place where nothing interesting ever happens unless people invent stories to entertain themselves. And that's exactly what I thought Denny House was. Just another small town myth, a creepy abandoned place teenagers used for dares and ghost stories. The house sat at the far edge of town, hidden behind dead trees and rusted fencing. It was 2 stories tall, colonial style, dark grey paint almost completely peeled away, most windows shattered, front porch half collapsed. Even during daylight, the place looked wrong, like it didn't belong to the neighborhood around it, like someone had picked it up from a nightmare and dropped it into suburbia. When I was a kid, people told ridiculous stories about it. Lights turning on by themselves, voices heard inside, pets disappearing nearby. One story claimed a family of 4 vanished overnight in 1992. Another claimed a man named Dennis Ward murdered his wife there. Nobody could agree on details, just the conclusion: stay away. Naturally, my younger brother Lucas thought this made it the perfect place for a challenge. Lucas was 19, annoyingly fearless, or maybe just aggressively stupid. "Are you seriously still scared of that place?" he asked me over dinner. I laughed. "No." He smirked. "Then prove it." That should have been the end, a joke, but pride is a dangerous motivator, especially around younger siblings. So by 10 p.m. that night, I found myself driving with Lucas towards Denny House, rain lightly tapping the windshield, roads empty, streetlights fading behind us. As we pulled up, Lucas grinned like an idiot. 1 night, no problem. We parked outside the rusted gate, and that's when I noticed something strange. The house had one upstairs window glowing faintly yellow. I frowned. "Someone's in there." Lucas shook his head immediately. "No electricity. Place got cut off years ago." I stared again. Definitely light. Not bright, more like candlelight, soft and flickering. My stomach tightened, already regretting this. But Lucas was filming for social media, of course, because near-death experiences are content now. We climbed over the fence, grass wet around our ankles. The closer we got, the colder the air felt. Not weather cold, sharp, dry, almost metallic, like opening an open freezer. The front door was slightly open, not broken, not forced, just cracked enough to invite you in. That bothered me more than if it had been locked. Inside smelled of mold, rot, dust, and something sweeter underneath, like old perfume. Our flashlights cut across ruined furniture, peeling wallpaper, water damage, a grandfather clock frozen at 2:17. Lucas whispered dramatically into his phone, "Welcome to Denny House." I rolled my eyes. Ground floor seemed normal enough. Dining room, kitchen, living room, all destroyed by time, Nothing supernatural, nothing scary, just decay. That false sense of security lasted maybe 15 minutes. Then we heard it. A knock, soft, above us, from the second floor. 3 taps. Knock, knock, knock. We both froze. Lucas lowered his phone. "You heard that?" "Yes." Silence. We stared at ceiling. Another 3 knocks. Same rhythm, same location. Definitely upstairs. My immediate assumption: squatter, animal, tree branch, anything logical. But logic got weaker when we realized something. There were no trees touching the roof, and the knocking was too clean, too intentional. Lucas whispered, "Attic?" I looked up. There was an attic hatch visible from upstairs hallway, right below where the sound came from. Nope, absolutely not. "Let's go," I said. Smart decision, should have followed it. Instead, Lucas laughed nervously. "We just got here." Then he started climbing the staircase, because horror stories only happen when one person in the group has 0 survival instinct. I followed, mostly because I didn't want him alone upstairs. Second floor was worse, much worse. The temperature dropped noticeably. My flashlight beam felt weaker somehow, like darkness itself was thicker there. Hallway lined with closed bedroom doors, wallpaper stained dark brown in vertical streaks, one bedroom door slightly open, and from inside a humming sound, very faint, a female voice, softly humming a lullaby. Lucas and I looked at each other. Neither of us spoke, because no explanation for that would be acceptable, not one. The humming stopped, instantly, like whoever was inside knew we were listening. Then a woman's voice quietly said, "Come in." Nope. Every cell in my body screamed, "Leave." Lucas actually took a step backwards, finally common sense entering chat. Then, knock, 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 from directly above us. Attic. Louder now, aggressive. Dust fell from ceiling. Another knock, harder. Then scratching, long scraping noise dragging across attic floorboards, like claws being pulled, or furniture. Lucas whispered, "We should go." Best sentence spoken all night. We turned toward staircase and stopped, because the hallway behind us had changed, not metaphorically, physically. The staircase was gone, just gone. In its place was a blank wall, old wallpaper, no stairs, no opening, nothing. My brain refused to process it. Lucas started hyperventilating. "No, no, no, no." I rushed to the wall, touched it. Solid, cold, impossible. The staircase had been there seconds ago. Then the attic hatch above us creaked open, slowly, wood groaning, a dark square opening in the ceiling, pitch black inside. And something moved. Not fully visible, just pale fingers curling over the edge of the hatch. Too long, too thin, humanish, but stretched, like anatomy designed from memory instead of reality. Lucas screamed. We ran, no direction, just instinct, bursting into the nearest bedroom and slamming the door shut, both of us breathing like animals. The room was an old nursery, faded blue walls, broken crib, rotting stuffed animals, and dozens of childish drawings taped across the walls. My flashlight shook as it passed over them. Every drawing showed the same thing, a tall black figure standing beside a house. Same figure, again, again, again.
Different crayons, different styles, but the same image. And in childish handwriting beneath one drawing, "Denny lives upstairs." My stomach dropped. Lucas whispered, "Who made these?" Before I could answer, something knocked from inside the closet. One knock, then another. Then a little girl's voice said, "Is Mommy with you?" Lucas actually started crying, quietly, pure panic tears, and honestly, fair, because I was maybe 30 seconds from joining him. Then came footsteps in the hallway outside, slow, heavy, not rushed, like someone knew exactly where we were and wasn't worried about us escaping. The footsteps
stopped outside our door. Silence. Then one slow scratch across the wood, and a male voice whispered, "Lucas." Not my voice, not family, something else, but it knew his name. Then Mason. My blood froze. Nope, 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 nope. The doorknob slowly began turning. The doorknob turned once, stopped, then slowly turned again, metal clicking softly in the darkness. Whoever or whatever was outside wasn't trying to break in. That would have been easier. It was being patient, almost playful, like it already knew we weren't going anywhere. Lucas pressed both hands over his mouth to stop himself from making noise. Smart. Because the second he made a sound, the voice outside spoke again, closer this time, almost directly against the wood. "Lucas?" Same male voice, low, calm, wrong. Not loud enough to be threatening, just intimate enough to feel deeply invasive, like someone whispering in your ear from inside your own head. Then came something much worse. A second voice joined it, female, soft, warm. "Baby?" Lucas instantly stiffened. I looked at him, his face completely drained of color. That was his mother. Mine too, technically, but not really. Our mom died in a car accident when Lucas was 12. There was no mistaking her voice. None. "Lucas, honey, open the door." He started shaking violently, tears instantly spilling. "No," his voice cracked. "That's Mom." I grabbed his shoulder hard. "No, it isn't." Outside, the voice laughed softly. Not evil movie laughter, not dramatic, just amused, like it enjoyed hearing that. Then our mother's voice came again, more emotional now, almost crying. "Please." That one nearly got me. Not because I believed it, but because it sounded perfect. Every tiny detail, every little speech pattern, every breath. If evil exists, true evil isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It sounds exactly like what you miss most and asks politely to be let inside. The doorknob stopped moving. Silence. Long enough to make us wonder if it had left. Then something slammed against the door so hard the entire frame shook. Lucas screamed. Another slam. Wood cracked near the lock. Again, again. The door bulged inward. Whatever had been pretending was done pretending. I looked around frantically. There had to be another exit. Window, of course. I rushed over, opened rotten curtains, and my stomach dropped so hard I thought I'd vomit. No outside.
No yard, no moonlight, no neighborhood, nothing. Just darkness. Not nighttime darkness, empty darkness, like the window opened into a void, a black space with no depth, no stars, no air movement, nothing. Impossible. "What do you see?" Lucas asked. "Don't look." Too late. He looked anyway and immediately stumbled backward. "What the hell is that?" Good question. No answer. The bedroom no longer existed inside a normal house. Somehow, impossibly, we were somewhere else. Or maybe the house was. Another crash hit the door. This time the top hinge partially snapped. Not much longer. Then the closet door behind us creaked open by itself, slowly. That same little girl voice whispered from inside, "You can hide in here." Nope, absolutely not. I would rather fist-fight a demon than voluntarily enter the creepy closet offering protection. The voice continued, "Before he finds you." That made me pause, not because I trusted it, but because it implied hierarchy. There was a he, something worse, something specific. Lucas whispered, "What do we do?" Before I could answer, all sound in the room stopped. Not silence, absence, like audio itself had been muted. No breathing, no footsteps, no wind, nothing. Even our own movements became noiseless. That lasted maybe 5 seconds. Then the entire house groaned, a deep structural moan from somewhere far below, like the building itself was alive and waking up. The floor shifted under our feet, slightly at first, then enough to throw us off balance. Bedroom walls trembled, picture frames falling, dust raining from ceiling. And from somewhere deep inside the house, a scream. Long, inhuman, agonized. It sounded less like pain, more like hunger discovering itself. The door exploded inward, not opened, not broken, shattered. Wood fragments everywhere. And standing in the doorway was a man, or what used to resemble one. Tall, extremely tall, too tall for the frame. He had to hunch slightly to fit, wearing a dark suit decades out of style, face pale as paper, eyes completely black, no visible whites, just endless black, and a smile, too wide, not human enough to be believable, but stretched just enough to feel disgusting. He tilted his head, studying us, like deciding. Then he spoke, voice impossibly calm. "You came upstairs." As if that explained everything, as if this was our fault. Lucas grabbed my arm so hard it hurt. The man stepped forward, slowly, hands behind him, like a polite host. Most people leave before this part. No thanks, hard pass. I grabbed a lamp and hurled it. It smashed directly into his face. No reaction, not even a blink. The thing smiled wider, rude. Then lunged, fast, far too fast. 1 second across room, next second inches away. We bolted past him somehow. Pure luck, adrenaline, blind terror. Back into hallway, which had changed again. Longer now, much longer. At least impossible house longer. Stretching far beyond physical dimensions. Doors lining both sides. At the end of the hallway stood the attic ladder, pulled down, waiting. and from above, knock, 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 like something inviting us upward. Absolutely not. We sprinted opposite direction, opening doors randomly, every room worse than last. One room contained only dirt floor and hanging chains. Another was flooded ankle-deep in black water. Another was walls covered entirely with family photographs. Our family photographs. Mine, Lucas's, pictures from our childhood, birthdays, school photos, private moments, images this house should never have seen. Lucas nearly collapsed. How does it have these? No idea. Didn't want one. Then I noticed something horrifying. Some pictures included an extra person, standing in the background, different locations, same figure, tall, pale, watching, in our backyard, at Mom's funeral, outside school, always there, years before tonight. Nope, not processing that. We kept moving, eventually found the staircase again.
Finally. Real staircase, or what looked like one. We rushed down, hit first floor, ran for front door, and stopped dead. The front door was open, moonlight visible outside, normal yard, freedom. Too easy. Way too easy. Lucas ran toward it. I grabbed him violently. No. He looked at me like I was insane. What are you doing? But something felt wrong, deeply wrong. I studied the doorway. Everything looked perfect, until I noticed one detail. No sound. Rain had been falling earlier, yet now no rain noise, no wind, nothing. Outside was visually normal, but completely silent. Fake. A trap. As if house was offering escape it knew we'd take. The male voice echoed from upstairs. You're learning. Great. Hated that. Then all lights in the house flicked on at once. Every lamp, every hallway light, every room illuminated in harsh yellow. House suddenly looked inhabited, clean, fresh wallpaper, furniture restored, dust gone, decay vanished, like we had been transported decades backward. And from dining room came voices, conversation, laughter, clinking silverware, a family eating dinner. We slowly turned. Inside dining room sat 6 people around table, perfectly still, not eating, just sitting, facing plates, motionless, like mannequins. Then, one by one, they turned their heads toward us, all at same speed, all smiling. One of them was our mother, and she stood up. "Boys," she said warmly, "dinner's ready." Lucas made a sound I never want to hear from another human again. A small, broken noise, somewhere between sobbing and vomiting. Then all 6 figures stood simultaneously, chairs scraping the floor in perfect sync, and started walking toward us. Not fast, not slow, purposeful, unified. I grabbed Lucas and ran into the kitchen, locked swinging door, shoved fridge against it. Voices immediately stopped outside. Then came knocking. From all sides now, walls, ceiling, floor, cabinets, everywhere, like the entire house was full. Lucas was full panic mode. "We're going to die." Maybe, probably, didn't love our odds. Then I noticed something on the kitchen counter. A notebook, leather cover, old, with one word written on front. Denny. I opened it. Inside were entries, messy handwriting, dates from 1989.
A journal. First entry. The house is not haunted. That would be simpler. Bad start. I flipped pages rapidly. Later entries became unstable, desperate, frantic. One line underlined repeatedly. It lets people in, but does not let everyone leave. Then, final entry. Short. Just one sentence written dozens of times across the entire page. Do not go into the attic. And directly above us, knock, 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 louder than ever, followed by slow footsteps descending from the attic stairs. But the attic was above second floor, meaning whatever was coming down was too big for the house, and somehow still fitting inside it. Kitchen lights began flickering. The knocking stopped. Every voice outside fell silent. Lucas whispered, "What now?" Then from the hallway came that same calm male voice right outside the kitchen. "He's awake." And something massive exhaled above us. Something massive exhaled above us. Not a normal breath, not even a creature's breath. It sounded ancient, deep, wet, like air being forced through something far too large to exist inside a house. The ceiling above the kitchen bowed downward slightly, not enough to collapse, just enough to show weight, pressure, presence. Something was directly over us, and it was huge. Lucas slowly backed away from the center of the room. Smart. I followed. The ceiling creaked again. A long crack split across the plaster. Dust fell onto the kitchen table. Then another crack. Then a third. Whatever was above us was moving, slowly dragging itself across the ceiling, wood groaning under impossible strain. And then a single black liquid dropped on the floor, right between me and Lucas. Thick, dark, viscous. Not water, not paint. It smelled like rot and rot. Blood. Old blood. Lucas whispered, "Oh my God!" Another drop, then another. Soon a small trail of black fluid leaked from the ceiling crack. Something was directly above that spot, watching us through the gap. The kitchen door suddenly rattled hard. The thing outside had returned. The male voice again, still calm, still polite. "You shouldn't be in there." No response. Didn't plan on starting a conversation with evil Zillow owner. The voice continued, "He doesn't like noise." Then from directly above us came a low sound, a rumble, not mechanical, a growl, but too deep to belong to any animal I've ever heard. It vibrated through the cabinets, through the floor, through my ribs. Lucas covered his ears. And then the ceiling broke. Not fully, just one pale hand punched through. Massive fingers, long as kitchen knives. Too many joints. Skin stretched tightly over bone. It groped downward blindly, searching. I grabbed Lucas and pulled him sideways, just as those fingers scraped the floor where we'd been standing. Nope. Absolutely impossible levels of nope. The hand withdrew. Then another fist slammed through. Bigger hole now. We could see movement in darkness above. Something shifting, trying to widen opening. Kitchen door shook violently. Fridge sliding inch by inch despite our barricade. We were about to be attacked from above and front simultaneously. Fantastic. My eyes scanned desperately for anything useful. Found gas stove, propane, lighter. Terrible plan. Only available plan. I turned every burner on, gas hissing loudly, kitchen quickly filling with fumes. Lucas immediately realized, "You're insane." Probably. The ceiling hand reached through again, closer now, almost touching Lucas's face. The kitchen door shook violently, fridge sliding inch by inch despite our barricade. The fridge finally shifted enough for the kitchen door to crack open, and through the gap, a black eye stared in. Not human, too glossy, too still, watching. A smiling voice behind it whispered, "Open wider." No thanks. I sparked the lighter, held it up, and for the first time all night, everything reacted. Not calmly, not patiently, pure chaos. The thing above the ceiling began thrashing violently. Kitchen door slammed repeatedly. Voices outside suddenly screaming. Not fake pain, real, animalistic panic. Good. Nice to know fire was unpopular. I dropped the lighter. Explosion. Not Hollywood giant fireball. More violent burst. Enough to blast heat through every room. Windows shattered outward. Cabinets blown open. I hit the floor hard, ears ringing. Everything became white noise, smoke, heat, fire spreading rapidly. Lucas coughing beside me, alive, barely. Kitchen wall partially collapsed from the blast, revealing hallway, now burning. Good enough. Move! We stumbled through the smoke-filled corridor, house around us groaning like a wounded animal, walls blackening, paint bubbling. Somewhere above, a scream like no human ears were designed to hear, not from one throat, many, layered.
As if multiple voices were trapped inside one massive body. The entire staircase ahead was engulfed, but front door visible, still open, still maybe real. No time for analysis now. We ran, past burning furniture, past melting wallpaper, past walls that now seemed to pulse slightly beneath flames, like skin. Not looking at that, not unpacking that. Almost there, 10 feet, 5. Then something grabbed Lucas's ankle, hard. He crashed face first onto hardwood. I turned. One of those pale hands had emerged from underneath floorboards, not through them, through gaps between them, like fingers squeezing from impossible spaces, holding him, pulling. Lucas screamed. I grabbed his arms, pulled back, tug of war with something under the floor. Worst experience of my life. The hand tightened, Lucas shrieking in pain. Then I saw broken table leg nearby, grabbed it and drove splintered wood directly through the hand. Black fluid sprayed. The thing released instantly. Hand vanished back below. We ran. No more interruptions. Straight through front door, out onto porch. Cold night air hit like salvation. We jumped porch steps, hit wet grass, kept running. Didn't stop, didn't look back, just sprinted across yard and over fence until our lungs felt like broken glass. Only then did we turn. Denny House was burning, fully engulfed. Flames swallowing windows, roof collapsing inward. For a moment, relief hit. Over. Finally, over. Then I noticed movement inside second floor window. A silhouette, tall, standing still behind flames, watching us, not burning, not moving, just observing. Then it raised one arm slowly and waved. House collapsed seconds later, taking it with it, or so we hoped. Police came, fire department, ambulance, questions, lots of questions. Our story obviously sounded insane, so we lied. Said homeless squatters started fire, said we got trapped. Authorities accepted simplest explanation. House officially destroyed. Case closed. For a while, life returned to normal.
Lucas stopped talking about that night completely. Wouldn't discuss it. Wouldn't even say the name Denny House. Fair enough. Trauma response. Understandable. Then, about 4 months later, Lucas called me at 3 a.m., hyperventilating, crying. "Mason, what happened?" Silence. Then he whispered, "There's knocking in my attic." My blood froze instantly. No. 3 knocks echoed faintly through the phone. Knock, knock, knock. Same rhythm, same exact rhythm. Lucas started sobbing. It followed us. Then a new voice came through the phone. Not Lucas. Male, calm, polite. "You left something upstairs." Call disconnected. I drove to his apartment immediately. 20 minutes, fast as possible. Too late. Police were already outside. Lights flashing, neighbors gathered. Apartment door broken open. Lucas gone. No signs of forced entry, no blood, no struggle. Just one thing, written in deep scratches across his bedroom ceiling. "Dinner is ready." That was 2 years ago. Lucas was never found. No body, no evidence, nothing. Officially listed missing. Unofficially, I know exactly where he is, or at least where something took him. Last week, I moved into a new apartment in Denver. Top floor, no attic. Very intentional choice. Thought I was safe. Thought I was smarter now. Until last night, 12:17 a.m. I was lying in bed when I heard it. Soft, slow, above me. 3 familiar knocks. Knock, knock, knock. And then a calm male voice whispered from directly inside my ceiling. "Mason."